Hi, everybody. Welcome to Yin Yoga for Deeper Self-Love. I am Jen Haddix, and I am so excited to be on Matt's channel. I discovered him a few weeks ago at a time where I really needed some deep healing. I did one of his classes, and I just absolutely fell in love. And I love that I get to be a part of this and that I get to share this with you. So thank you so much for being here. Yin Yoga for Deeper Self-Love. And I want to talk about self-love for just a moment here because I know that self-love is a really big buzzword right now and everybody's talking about self-love. And I think the reason I am so into it and the reason I feel that it is so important and I want to share it through my yoga is that I think that how we love ourselves affects how we see the world and how other people treat us. And if we are not taking care of ourselves and we are not showing up for ourselves and we are not setting hard boundaries and asking for what we need and healing our inner child, our entire world kind of falls apart around us. And so if we can take a little bit of time out of our day, every day, even if it's just 5 minutes, if it's this hour that you're going to do with me, any time at all that you spend on asking yourself what you need and what needs to change within you and what you need to be asking for in order to have a happier life, that is self-love. And so that is what I want to bring to this yoga class today. And so we are going to actually be doing a mantra. And a mantra is simply, for those of you who don't know, I'm sure a lot of you do, a mantra is simply a phrase that you repeat over and over again. It's another tool to keep your mind present along with the breath. But this particular mantra is one of my favorites for self-love. And the mantra is simple. It is two words. They are in Sanskrit, and it is so hum, so hum. And it is spelled SOHAM, but you say it hum like hum. And all it means is I am that. I am that. And that is the universe. I am that. I am the universe. I am the divine light that is within everything. And so if you are that, then you are enough. If you are that, then why wouldn't you love yourself? Because you are all that the universe encompasses. You are the universe. You are light. You are love. You are that. And so we are going to be using that mantra today during our class, Soham. We'll say it a couple of times out loud and then you can have it in your head. And if it doesn't work for you, that is okay. You can stay with the postures. You can stay with the breath. The most important thing right now is that you are doing this class and that you are showing up for yourself. And so as you can see, I have some props. I know not everybody has these props available. So if you do not have props, you might grab a couple of pillows from your bed, a couple of blankets from your bed. I've also used books in place of blocks before, but you can also do these postures without the props. The props are just going to make them a little bit more accessible. We're going to be holding them for a while, so you want to make sure that you can be comfortable. And so that being said, if I ever do a posture that doesn't feel good to you, please feel free to adjust yourself in any way that you need to. If I put you in a posture that feels really good and you want to stay there a little bit longer and just be in the energy of this class and not shift your body and change shapes, then you stay wherever feels the best for you. This is a very intuitive practice. This is a very mindful, all about you practice. Also, this is Beatrice. She will be with me during the entire class because she likes to snuggle, so she'll be here. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. I would like to bring us into Supta Baddha Konasana, which is reclined bound angle pose. Excuse me, sweet pea. And so what we're going to do is we're going to have a bolster, if you have it, at the back of your mat. And if you don't, you can use blankets or pillows. Like a rolled up blanket's a really good option, or maybe a couple of pillows right behind you. And then you're going to lie down on this bolster. We're going to bring the knees out wide. And this is where the books or the blocks are going to be helpful. So I'm going to go ahead. She just really wants to burrow. I'm going to go ahead and bring my knees, the outsides of my thighs, to some blocks. You could also use pillows here. And then we're going to lay all the way down. And so bringing whatever you have aligned with your spine all the way behind you so you can lay down here, allowing the hips to open, allowing the heart to open. So this is a very intentional pose for our self-love yoga today. So what we've got going on here is we've got a heart opener. So I would like you to think about opening your heart up to love yourself, opening your heart up to this process of self-love. And then we also have a hip opener, and something that happens when we open up our hips is we allow emotions to move freely through the energy centers. We allow old stories and yucky stuff that we're holding to go from our body. And so, before I get quiet and allow you to stay here for a while, I want you to just give yourself a moment of permission to open your heart up to the process of self love and to open your hips and your energy centers, your lower energy centers up to process whatever you need to process. If you cry, you cry. If you fall asleep, you fall asleep. It's whatever you need right now. Just give yourself permission to let whatever it is flow through you so that you can have this process and cultivate a deeper self love. Now, final thing before I get quiet here, come to that mantra and come to your breath. Breathing in and out through the nose, inhaling and exhaling. And as you inhale and exhale, you'll start to think of the mantra. So, inhaling for so, exhaling hum. So, inhale, hum, exhale. So, inhale, hum, exhale. And you keep going just like that. You can say it out loud if it feels good for you, or you're probably just going to want to say it quietly inside your mind with your breath. So, hum, so, hum. I am that. I am divine love. I am source. I am all that is. So, we're going to be here for about 5 to 6 minutes. Stay with your mantra, stay with your breath. Stay in stillness as much as it's possible for your body. And we're here just a little bit longer, yogis, taking big breaths in and out through the nose, continuing with that mantra. So on the inhale, hum on the exhale. Stay with it just a little bit longer. And in our final 10 breaths, maybe if you haven't done so already, you'd like to place your palms face up toward the sky. This is a gesture of receiving that love, receiving that awareness, receiving that clarity from Source. Just breathing here for a few more rounds of breath. So, every transition that we do, I'd like you to take it super slow, be very gentle on your body. So, a nice transition here is to reach your arms down by the outsides of your thighs and just carefully guide your legs together one at a time, placing your feet on the mat. And if it feels okay on your low back, you might do little windshield wipers, maybe not as big as you might normally do. Just releasing and guiding movement back into your body. I like to think about lifting the heart up first to get out of this pose. So, bringing your hands back by your hips, maybe prop yourself up on your elbows and then lift yourself up heart first. And then coming to a comfortable seat, go ahead and set any props that you used off to the side. Any blankets, any pillows, any blocks. And we're just going to come to an easy Sukhasana seated yoga pose. So it doesn't have to look like a yoga pose. If you feel comfortable sitting with your legs out like this or out in front of you or maybe up against a wall, you are welcome to sit however feels the best in your body. Let's go ahead and bring those palms once again face up, that gesture of receiving. Close your eyes. Inhale, lift the crown of the head up toward the sky. Exhale, root the tailbone down into the earth. Find a little tiny baby tuck of your chin. We're just going to lengthen through the back of the neck there. And then guide your attention to your heart and breathe there for a few rounds of breath using that mantra. So hum. Inhaling and exhaling deeply. And then flipping the palms back over to bring the hands to the tops of the knees, or you could stack one hand on top of the other in your lap. We're going to make really small neck circles by tucking the chin in toward the chest. Just bringing one ear over to one shoulder, gently up toward the sky, and then over to the other shoulder. We roll nice and slow with the breath. Try not to make the circle too big. You don't want to crick your neck. I like to do these gentle movements in between the held postures just to help the energy continue to move through the body, help any processing that's happening, any release. Go ahead and go the opposite direction with that circle. Breathing deeply. Going to bring ourselves back through center, hands to the tops of the knees for this one. If they're not already there, you're just going to circle your chest over your legs and then round your spine as you go back. So we're just undulating through the spine, bringing some space and breath in between the vertebrae. You can stay with your breath, or if you're still repeating that mantra to yourself, that's beautiful as well. Go ahead and switch directions. Breathing deeply. Close your eyes if you haven't done so already. Just let this be a very internal experience. Go ahead and bring yourself all the way back through center. If you're sitting cross-legged, go ahead and bring your opposite leg on top. I just like to make sure the energies of the body are nice and even. Hands stay on the tops of the knees. And then we're actually going to do a seated cat-cow. So hands on the knees. Inhaling, the heart is going to come forward. You're going to squeeze your shoulder blades together. Lift your heart. If it feels okay on the neck, you lift the chin. On the exhale, the belly comes in. We start to round the spine, tuck the chin, curl yourself in. Inhaling, we lift up. Exhaling, we round. So just keep going back and forth with your breath. Again, the eyes can be closed. Move with your breath. Nice and slow and gentle, just feeling everything. Try not to have any judgment about your body. Just feel. And then our final stretch here, go ahead and inhale yourself back in through center. Our final stretch here is going to be a baby little twist. So we're going to bring our left hand on the outside of our right knee, or maybe just to the inside of the thigh if that feels better for you. We're still twisting the spine. This right hand is going to go right behind you so we can twist. Make sure you've got lots of length in your spine so you're lifting the crown of the head up. And as you exhale, you're just kind of wringing out your spine. This is very helpful for that emotional release, letting go of those old stories that don't serve you. One more breath. We're going to inhale, crawl it back through center. You're going to go the other way. So right hand comes to the outside of that left knee or just on the inside of the thigh. This left hand comes behind us. We lengthen up through the spine, lift up, exhale, twist. Inhaling as much length as you can. Exhaling, maybe twist a little bit deeper. Reaching those farthest parts, low spine. Letting all of that energy go. All right, inhale. We're going to come back through center, maybe wiggle it out a little bit. We're going to go into our next restorative posture. So I like to call this puppy pose or melting heart pose. And again, we're looking for a good heart opener here. So we're opening up the heart to this process of self-love. So what we're going to do here is we're kind of on our hands and our knees. I'd like to bring a bolster or a blanket or something at the top of your mat so that you've got somewhere to rest your forearms. You're going to be in sort of a tabletop position. The knees are under the hips. We're going to sink ourselves back, keep your booty high in the air, and then sink your heart down. Now, your chin may or may not touch the earth. It's okay if it doesn't. You could also place a block underneath your face. I'm going to go ahead and let my head stay lifted. You're just feeling that opening in the tops of the shoulders, opening in the heart, and then let your head relax down. We're only going to stay here for about 2.5 minutes. If it's very intense for you, you can always go into a child's pose or any other comfortable pose. Take 5 more deep breaths right here. Be very gentle with yourself as you come out of this, bringing yourself in towards your arms, maybe coming to sit down on your heels. And once you sit down on your heels, take some shoulder rolls. Move the neck side to side. Just gently come back into your body. Anything that feels good here. You can shake out the hands. You could find a little shoulder stretch, another little heart opener. And then we're going to bring ourselves into a tabletop pose. So just again, a couple more movements before we find our next held pose so we can really optimize the restorative pose and let as much as we can go. So from our tabletop pose, just find some gentle side to side movement. Might look like a little C curve with the spine one direction and then the other way. You could also make some nice big hip circles. And then we'll take a couple rounds of cat-cow here. So just look down at your fingers. Make sure they're wide enough to support your shoulders. If for any reasons your wrists don't like this, you can come down and do a smaller version down on your forearms. But we're going to inhale, the belly is going to come down. Exhale, the spine's going to round back and forth a few times with the breath. Inhale. And exhale. After a couple of rounds of this, go ahead and bring yourself back to your neutral spine, and then we're going to come to lay all the way down on the back. We're going to get ourselves into a nice gentle twist. And so I like to use the bolster. You can use a bolster, you can use pillows, you can use blankets. You can also do this without. We're going to lie all the way down on the back with the knees bent and the feet on the mat. Let's stay here for another moment and just breathe into the back body. We've paid a lot of attention to the front of the heart. Can we breathe a little bit more deeply into the back of the heart, the part of your back that's touching the mat where your heart connects there? See if you can expand the rib cage a little bit with every breath. All right, so we're going to get ourselves into this twist. So if you have something at your left side, go ahead and hug it in nice and close to the left side of your body, or whatever side you'd like to start on. We'll do both. You're going to pick up your hips and send them away from your props and let both of your knees fall over to the prop. So both of my knees are going to stack. Now this might take a little bit of adjustment. You might find that you need to shift a little bit further. You might also find that you feel better if you cross your legs. You are welcome to do anything that feels the most releasing in your lower back. If you try this with the prop and you're like, no, thank you, you can move it out of the way and just do it right here. I think I'm actually going to do that. So allowing both of your knees to fall over to one side, either supported or not, the opposite hand is going to reach out to the opposite side so that that shoulder can soften and we can get as much space out of this twist as possible. This hand can go on the outside of your right thigh and just give yourself a gentle little assist, pressing into the outside of that IT band and feeling the release of the lower back. Let's go ahead and come back to the breath if you've lost it, inhaling and exhaling deeply through the nose. And we'll come back to our self-love mantra, Soham. Soham, I am that. I am the universe. I am all that is. I am so deserving of love, especially from myself. For the next few minutes, we'll stay in silence. You stay with that mantra. You stay with your breath. Every time you breathe in, can you imagine that beautiful new self loving energy infiltrating your entire body? And every time you exhale, can you feel some old story release from your body? Something that no longer serves you, something that is no longer true. Just let it go. We're here just a little bit longer. Allowing yourself to move very slowly. We're just gently going over to the other side. So, taking the path of least resistance, maybe guiding both of your feet to the mat so you can pick up your hips and bring them back to the center. If you had a prop on one side, guide it over to the other side. And make sure that you pick up your hips. Take them away from the side you're going to. Allow both of your knees to fall over, either on top of a prop. Maybe you need to adjust your legs in a different way. However, this twist serves you best. So both of our legs are over to one side. Our arm is going to go out the opposite way so the shoulder can relax down and we get all that space in the spine, in the heart, in the lower back. This right hand or whatever hand you're using can come to the outside of your thigh, giving yourself that little assist to go a tiny bit deeper. Relax your upper body. Notice if your shoulders are up by your ears. Come back to your deep breath. Come back to your mantra. So hum. I am that. I am love. I am divine. I am deserving of love because I am divine. And stay with it for several minutes right here. Every time you inhale, we're allowing in that beautiful new self love energy. Every time you exhale, release something. Let it go. No need to hold on to it any longer. Just a little bit longer right here. And very slowly and gently, we bring ourselves back through center, shifting the hips back to the center of the mat, moving any of your props you need to out of the way. And then here, let's widen the feet. Allow the knees to come in toward each other. Maybe your hands rest on your belly as you breathe and you let your knees go side to side, like little windshield wipers. After a few rounds of that, making sure you're even on both sides, you're going to inhale your feet back to center. Pull your belly in and bring your knees in towards your belly. Your hands could come to the tops of your shins. You could grab your opposite fingertips. If it's available to you, you can grab your opposite wrists or elbows. We're going to rock side to side, lengthening the tailbone down to the earth, softening through the shoulders, and just breathing into the hips. Again, we're allowing that release to happen. So energy is moving through us. We're releasing old stories, old energies, old emotions, anything you're holding. We're letting it all go. I'd like you to find your way to a seat, the way that's easiest for you, path of least resistance. So you could roll over onto one side and push yourself up. You could carefully roll yourself up. And here we are ready for our next posture. So we've done a little bit of gentle movement. We're going to come into our next held posture. So we're going to do a wide-legged forward fold. And I always say that wide is very relative. It's relative to whatever your body wants. And so for some of us, wide is as wide as our mat, and that is more than enough. For some of us, it might be a little bit more. This is going to be a really good pose for some props. So bolster, pillows, blankets. Your wide-legged forward fold might look something like this if this is accessible for you. My head is up for the mic, but I'd want your forehead down on your bolster. You could interlace your hands underneath to lift it up a little bit higher. If this is just not happening, this is where blocks and books are very helpful. You can bring a block underneath to make this a little bit higher. You could also remove that, bring your bolster or pillows in, and just hug yourself in. Maybe your wide-legged forward fold looks something like this, or we've got it resting on the forehead like this. The important part is that we've got the tiniest hinge forward in our hips. Go ahead and let your feet relax. You could even let your spine round here. We're just opening up through this energy center down here. So give yourself a few breaths to find what feels best for you, and then go ahead and begin to settle in. As we settle in, we come back to that breath. We come back to that mantra in and out through the nose. So hum. Cultivating deep self-love in your entire body. You're sending your breath into each cell. Our body listens to what we say. Our body hears us and it responds, and we hold those negative stories in ourselves, in our bodies, in our muscles, in every part of our being. And so what you're doing right now is you're reprogramming your body for self-love. Using this mantra, using your breath, using the stillness, you're reprogramming. So even if you feel silly, even if you feel like you don't believe it, keep going. Stay with the breath and stay with the mantra. So hum. And if you rested one cheek on your props, go ahead and switch over to the other side. Again, we're looking for balance in the body, so just switching over to your opposite side. And we're going to slowly make our way up and out of this pose. If you're comfortable and you want to stay longer, you're always welcome to stay. Otherwise, we begin to inhale, lift ourselves up. If you had anything in between your legs, go ahead and set it off to the side. And I want you to be very gentle here. So you gently kind of bend your knees in as you guide your legs together, bringing your feet down to the mat. Bring your hands behind you, fingertips face towards your hips, and just do a little side to side here with your legs. We're going to do one more forward fold here. We're going to do a Janu Shirshasana. So it's going to be on each side. So I'm going to begin with the left leg out, the right foot on the inside of your left thigh, and this knee out to the side. Now, something you may want here, I'll go ahead and do it facing forward, is a block pillow book on the outside of your right thigh. Kind of lifts it up a little bit, gives you more of an opportunity to open up through that hip. And this is where the pillows and the blankets are going to be helpful again. A couple different ways you can do this. If you have a bolster, you can just drape it over your leg to rest yourself here. You could turn it on the inside of your leg, resting yourself here. And again, you can also do something that looks like this. If you don't even have props, you can absolutely stay upright, allowing yourself to round in a little bit, allowing the chin to tuck and the face to relax. So give yourself a few breaths. Find what's going to feel good for you here. Something that is sustainable for about 3 minutes. Come back to the inhale and the exhale. Always bringing yourself back to your center with your breath. Bringing yourself back to the self-love practice with your mantra. So hum. Again and again. Rewiring your brain, rewiring your nervous system, and just releasing all of those non-truths you've been holding in your body for so long. Slowly begin to reconnect to your breath. As you inhale, you lift yourself up and out of this shape. We're just going to carefully switch over to the other side. So extend your right leg out, bring your left foot in. Use props if you used props on the other side. Setting yourself up and allowing yourself to just drape any amount over your leg. Could be high, could be low. Don't worry about the depth. Just worry about the space that you're creating and the breath and the mantra. Inhaling, so. Exhaling, hum. Again and again. I'm starting to deepen your breath here. And we come out as slowly as we went in, setting your stuff off to the side. This time, let's lengthen our legs out in front of us and just kind of shake the legs around a little bit. All right, we just have a couple more poses. Our next one is going to be child's pose. And again, you do not need to use props for this, but I highly recommend them. It makes it nice and cozy. So child's pose, traditionally, the knees are going to come together, or I'm sorry, wide. The knees are wide, the toes are together, and we're going to bring our chest and our forehead down to the earth. If that does not feel good for you, the knees come in. This is a much more supported child's pose. Maybe you bring something underneath you and allow your forehead to rest on your hands or on a block, pillow, or blanket. If you're going to go into the wide-legged version, it feels nice to bring a bolster or a bunch of pillows in between your thighs, resting your belly down and bringing one cheek onto your props, allowing yourself to rest here. So give yourself a few breaths to find what feels the most comfortable, sustainable for you. We're going to be here for about 5 minutes. If you are resting one cheek on the bolster, I will cue you to go over to the other side. And can you find a little bit more space in the body here? Can you think about reaching your tailbone down towards your heels? Maybe crawling your forehead up just a tiny bit toward the top of the mat. And then breathing into all that space you just created. We're rewiring our entire being for self-love. So sending breath in between each nook and cranny, pushing away those old stories, pushing away those old energies, bringing in that new love. that mantra, so hum. Allow it to radiate through your entire body. If you're resting on one cheek, go ahead and bring yourself over to the other side. We're about halfway there. We really want to take our time coming up and out of this shape. So walk your hands back towards your body so you can lift up your heart. Set anything you might have used off to the side. And then bring yourself to a gentle hands and knees pose so you can shake out the hips. Maybe circle things around a little bit. Coming back to the breath if you've lost it. We come back through center and then we're going to lay all the way down on the back. We have one more posture before our Shavasana. So lay all the way down on your back. We're going to bring the legs out long. And we're going to just let the arms rest down by the sides for a moment as you wiggle into the earth and just feel your body on the earth. We're going to do something I like to call banana asana. So both of our legs are down long. We're going to bring both of our feet down to the left corner of the mat and shimmy our hips to the right just a little bit. The right arm and left arm are going to reach up and overhead. So from an aerial view, you look like a banana or a half moon. Lengthening through the right side of the body. Maybe you cross your ankles and your wrists, maybe not. We're going to breathe here for a couple of minutes. Again, we're creating space. We're breathing in the new. We're releasing the old. Stay with your breath. Stay with your self love mantra. On our inhale, we're just going to shift this whole banana operation over to the other side. So, lengthening through the center of your mat, maybe you bend your knees so you can shift your hips. Both of your feet go down to the right corner, arms up and overhead to the right corner, maybe crossing the ankles and crossing the wrists. Banana asana on the other side. Lengthen through your left side body. Be with your breath, be with your mantra. As you feel ready, you're just going to inhale your body nice and long down the center of your mat. Readjust your hips, stretch your body, maybe point and flex your toes, reach through your fingertips. Guide your knees in towards your chest slowly, one at a time. Give yourself a hug. Rock side to side. If you feel like a little happy baby here, go ahead and take your happy baby. If that doesn't feel good, don't worry about it. Our final pose is going to be our resting pose, our Shavasana. You can lay down just as you are if you'd like to carefully guide yourself up so you can get some props and get yourself nice and cozy. I highly recommend it. We're going to be here for a little while. So getting yourself nice and comfortable all the way down on your back. Maybe your knees are resting over a pillow or a bolster. Cover yourself up completely with a blanket if that feels nice. I like to rest my hands on on my belly. You can rest your hands wherever you'd like to. Bring some relaxation into your upper body. Soften your shoulders, soften your chin. Relaxing through all of your limbs. We're going to let go of any of that controlled breath, but we're going to keep the mantra, the Soham. So as you lie here for the next several minutes, absorbing your practice, continuing to release anything you need to release, bringing in anything you need to bring in. Every time your mind wanders, which it will, that's part of the practice, can you just repeat that mantra to yourself again? Soham. You might have to do it 5 times. You might have to do it 500 times. Doesn't matter. We just lay in stillness. We practice our mantra. And we drift off into a meditation here. And slowly we begin to guide awareness back into the physical body, breathing life back into our fingers and into our toes. You can start to create some circles through the ankles, through the wrists, maybe stretching your arms up, reaching your feet down. And guide yourself in toward the center, knees in, arms around the legs. Give yourself a hug. Stay here. Big self-loving hug to you, from you. Being very grateful for this time you spent working on yourself, releasing the things that no longer feel good to you, allowing in the things that will feel amazing to you, and just feeling gratitude for it all. Roll over onto your favorite side, using your arm as a pillow, staying here for a moment longer. Using your top arm, bringing yourself into a comfortable seat. Let your eyes remain closed just a little bit longer here. Staying in the vibration of this practice, staying with the beat of your heart, all of this beautiful self-love that you've cultivated. Guide your hands together at your heart in that prayer, in that Anjali Mudra. Bow your mind down to your fingertips, a gesture of gratitude, a gesture of humility. Say thank you to yourself for doing this practice, for cultivating deeper self-love. When we heal ourselves, we heal the world. Thank you so much for allowing me to hold space for this practice for you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for loving yourself. Namaste.